that one first. Perfect streaming. Okay. Let me see if this is okay. Ah, I'm live. That is great. Okay. That is YouTube. And now adding Facebook. All right. Let's let the party start. Let's see if we are live. It says 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is kind of weird because looking at my time, I still have a lot of. Hey, there you go. That's me. All right, let's see if I have some sound. Welcome everyone. Hello. Let me see if I have sound so that we can get this pre-show started and talk about all kinds of different stuff that we like to talk about here at Petrus Music Condo. A special guest today, and before, let me check if I have sound. Yes, we have sound. That is great. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the pre-show. So why is it all the time that I'm going live, I have this itch on my nose? It's every single time that I do that. I don't know what that is, but it's really fun that it's always the same thing. However, we are live, and I am live for the next 30 minutes or so. We have a special guest, and that was the first Mevo that just went. Great stuff. I freaking hate it when it happens. Okay. Okay, so if the other one also goes, then I'm a big problem because I don't have anything to work with then. It says connecting, but it's not doing it. Let me try to get that organized before the show. Let's see what happens, because it's 25.1 degrees Celsius, and it should be working. That's the theory, at least. And okay, let's see what happens now. This one is still going, 3 minutes, so that is good. And the other one is remote camera is already running. Okay. Why is this not one? It doesn't show up. That's interesting. Let me do this. Okay. Start on 2. Let's see if that is helping us today. In the meantime, let me start this one as well. So, it says it's there. Connecting. Yep, unable to connect. Okay. So we are experiencing a glitch. I'm trying to figure that out what it is, and it is kind of awkward that it has been working for a long time, but it seems to be now a recurring problem. But yes. Okay, so now it should be back. Okay, now I can do this. And then get this organized. Still 1 minute to go for the pre-show. This is why we have a pre-show, guys, to get things organized.
And working.
And working, and it will be working in a few seconds, I think. I hope so, because this is going to that one, and if everything's fine, it will return.
Yes, everything's fine.
It's not returning. Anyways. All right. So the problem is that everything runs through this camera. So if that camera is going down, then all my audio is gone. Everything is gone. So that is my major concern. If that happens, then we need to cancel this stream, and I need to have a interesting discussion with live stream, because two cameras that are not working, that is kind of awkward, especially if it's within the operational thing. So we'll see. In the meantime, why is this not working? It's not picking it up. But it is 9 o'clock. So we can do two things. We can get this organized. I think that is. Hey, there it goes. There we are. Okay, so that one's back. So we can start. It is back, but it's awkward. It's now looking right here and only there. So that's not what we want. So there you go. All right. Good. Let's see how far we can go. Yeah, we'll do whatever we can. Okay, so I'm gonna start the show in 10 seconds to get things organized. Welcome everyone, welcome to the show, welcome to Petra's Music Condo. We are live every single Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European Time, 8 p.m. if you live in the UK, at noon if you live on the Pacific Coast, or at 3 p.m. if you live on the Eastern Coast of the US, and 7 a.m. if you live in Australia. During the pre-show we had some issues, and there has been a recurring problem with cameras, especially if this camera goes that I'm looking at right now. My audio goes away, and I have no way of getting back very quickly. So I hope that this one will be remaining to be okay. As long as one of them works, I can actually switch, but it's not going to be perfect. So we'll see how far we can go today. It is roughly 25.5 degrees Celsius over here. In the studio. And why is that important? Because it seems to be that this is the tipping point of the operational scale of that camera. So we'll see what happens. I am not by myself. My name is Petra van Bruggen, by the way. I do have a guest, and I'll bring him on. It is one of the essential roommates of the show, and I am very glad to see him. His video is a little bit pixelated, but he is here. Here he is, Mr. Jordan. How are you?
Good. How's everybody today?
So, Jordan, how are you doing today? For what have you been up to?
Oh, not much. Just having a lazy Saturday morning. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a what's the time again? Where you are at this moment?
1 p.m. 1 p.m.
It's 1 p.m. So it's 9 p.m. over here. So that it is really a big difference, right? I see a lot of people have joined already. I see Matthew is coming in, and I also see my mom. Annie is in. Tom is there. I have to translate his name. Sorry about that. And I see my dad is in, and it's great to see you. One of the reasons why you are at the show is that obviously because you are one of the roommates. You've been in the community for a long time already, and we really needed to get a talk about your favorite music, what you do, etc. So, but I know you're really into technology as well. So. Let's take a pick. Yeah, we talked about Broadway musicals. We talked about lighting. lighting stages, etc., but also some technology. And maybe before we really delve into the musical technology, maybe you can say something about what are you up to lately? What are you working on?
Well, I am a tech. As Petra said, I am a geek pretty much. I used to support do work for a school. Nowadays, I ever since I had a little medical issue, I'm on leave, and I've been working on just working on websites for friends and for colleagues, and kind of working on some of my own projects, learning web design, as that was not my area of expertise at the time when I left the school division.
That sounds really well. It sounds really cool indeed. But I mean, you have worked on quite some different projects. I mean, you are also into the church community, right? So you're also working on some kind of gift website, etc. So maybe you can delve about that a little bit because that is really interesting.
Yeah, giving platform.
Sure.
Kind of like some of the other there are some other ones out there, but the problem is they don't support some of the there are some really interesting things with Canadian banking laws, and the other fact is all their servers are based in the US, so which isn't bad, but there are some churches and some nonprofits that don't want their data on the US side of the servers because of the Patriot Act and all that fun stuff. So the company is based in Canada, and everything will be hosted on Canadian servers.
That is absolutely cool. We are obviously also a show that is talking about music, etc. So I do recall that a few episodes back we were talking about technology and what kind of technology have you been working with if it comes to audio? I mean, I know that you have like a record player somewhere at the house that you are, but maybe you also have some other stuff that you feel proud about that you have been working on and working with if it comes to music.
Well, the thing is, I've actually been involved a lot in some smaller Broadway or productions, as well as Christian's school productions as sound and lighting director. So yeah, I'm very involved. I really enjoy doing Broadway behind the scenes. I don't like acting, but I do like being behind the scenes and doing all that kind of stuff.
But it's really about technology, right? It's
oh yeah,
really about the lighting aspect of it. Maybe also the mixing aspect of it. I don't know if you also had mixed the audio.
Yep, I've done the mixing too. It's not my favorite fashion.
Okay.
I can do it in a pinch, but I prefer doing lighting and video and all that kind of stuff. Anytime you can integrate, do the fun stuff with lighting and video, it's always cool.
Yes. So I'm not able to show it, but of course I do also have lighting because I have lighting over here and at top of me to get a blue glow on the backdrop. I also have some lights here in this display. So it is really important to give it some kind of let's say a way to get some kind of atmosphere so that you are in the mood of something. So I can imagine that.
Oh yeah.
At the station that I work at, I also do some lighting design ish for some local bands, and it's really cool to do it. But it's also very hard. Yeah, you go ahead.
It takes a lot of time to, especially when you start working with intelligent lights and programming those. That's when it gets really complex. Even though the effect looks really cool when you get it all programmed, it takes a lot of time to get those all programmed just the way you want them.
Exactly. You're talking about what they call moving heads, I think. Those are
moving heads
that can change their position to where they point the light, but they also can change the color. They can change um, the figure that it creates, because there are also you
The
got
gobo.
lights, different colors. Yes, and you also have like drawings, like circles or like dots or whatever, to make it
Yeah, the go.
really interesting. So maybe you can say something more about that and what that process is for you. How did you do that? Is it did you mostly work with motorized or more with standard ones?
For me, I've pretty much worked with both of the old Source fours and like some of the old like Fresnels and Parkans and stuff like that. That's kind of where I really learned everything. I have done a little bit with the intelligence or the moving heads or the scanners or what as they're called. They're a little not quite as much just because I haven't had access to them. But yeah, the old traditional. You'd be surprised what you can pull off with traditional lights, even though putting them up and taking them down is a challenge because they weigh a lot and they heat that you can burn yourself so easily on them.
Yeah, and you're now talking about the let's say old lights, because nowadays uh, I would say 80% of all the lights that are used are actually LED lights nowadays,
Yeah,
and these
yeah,
are easier to. They're still very heavy. Don't get me wrong, but they're at least not as heavy as the old ones, and they don't give that much heat off. They do give heat, but not as much. Jordan,
no,
one question that is in the chat, which we really need to talk about maybe now, is your surname Tekelenburg. It's sounding a little bit Dutch. So you are from
yes,
Canada. Are you born there, or
yes, I was born in Canada.
go ahead?
Both sides of my family are from Holland. Both
Um,
my dad was born in my dad was born in Canada, but his parents were the ones that immigrated, and my mom actually immigrated when she was 7.
that's interesting. Do you recall where they came from, by the way? Which cities?
Um, my mom came from, I think, from Andijk,
Okay, yes,
and
that's North Holland.
I
Yes.
don't know where my dad is from, which part of Holland.
Okay,
So
well, it's not that important, but it's sort of fun to hear where they're from, right? And obviously, just I hear you say Holland, and Andijk is in North Holland, which is a province in the Netherlands. And one of the things
yeah,
that people, especially outside of Europe, don't really know is that the Netherlands and Holland are not equal. So
sorry.
we have 12. No, that's no worries. We have 12 provinces, and only 2 provinces are called Holland, and all the other ones are called Limburg, Overijssel, that kind of thing, and they're different at least. Brabant, one of my favorite provinces, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. So
it's all part of Netherlands. Sorry, just
they're
kind of get
all
used to saying that.
yeah, I know, but we are on a mission to change that. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, lighting. I mean, you have to control them. You can control them via like a computer. I have a software package on my laptop, which is right here.
Yeah,
To use that.
I'm not.
It's called DMX for.
Yep,
Sure.
I've used
Go ahead.
both. I've actually used a traditional. When I first started, I started out using a traditional console, a DMX console,
Okay.
with the actual where it
Yeah.
actually physically had like all the little sliders and all that kind of stuff, which is actually kind of nice when you're doing on thing is a lot of the times when I was doing the lighting, we were doing it so fast that I never had time to program the board. So so I was literally doing a lot of the lighting cues on the fly, like I was changing everything. For example, they had a 24 channels set. So what I would do is the top 24 channels, would be one scene one, and the bottom would be a scene two, and then I just crossfade it between the two.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So just
the,
like
the thing that
pretty much. Go ahead.
yeah. So I wanted to say that the most important thing is that I mean the computer variant where you just have software that is well cheaper, but if you don't have a lot of different scenes, is that what they're called, it will work perfectly for you because it just works. You can just put in some programming, and it's not difficult, but it is a lot of work, like Jordan is saying. But when it works, and yeah, you don't have to do anything about it. But if you have a really big show, or you have like a rock band or a band that wants a lot of movement and a lot of choreographed lights, well, then you come into some issues because it is not as flexible because you pre-program it. You also do that on a physical mixer, lighting mixer, to be more exact. But you can interfere manually much easier. I mean, am I correct, Jordan, about that?
Yeah, you can. And the thing, well, the funny thing is, a lot of the new lighting boards are pretty much mini computers. They just have, like, for example, like with your, TriCaster. I know you're a live streamer. I just can't, but like the TriCaster or the VMix console or the live stream console, they pretty much a lot of the lighting boards nowadays are literally miniature computers. For example, the one I was running was an ETC Easy Connect at the time, and it pretty much was running a small miniature computer. It was running like what looked like DOS at the time, but yeah, you had the full screen, you had the full computer, everything. So you could do a lot of the same kind of stuff. But it was pretty much a user. The sliders were pretty much just a UI on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, and
Yeah.
some of the, and then the cool thing is some of the new high-end boards will actually have like a 17-inch or 15-inch touchscreen on them, where you can actually touch, like, for example, say you want the to change all the lights to a certain gobo, which is the shape. So you want to change all the lights to that. You can select all the ones you want, and then just hit the button to change the shape or the color or whatever. So it gives you a lot more flexibility.
That is really cool. I see a newcomer in our chat. Well, newcomer, he just came in, and it is actually Geeks Life, one of our patrons. He says he recognizes that dude. I don't know why that is the case. I have absolutely no clue about that. you do, right?
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder who it is. I wonder if it's Laurie or Dave.
Well, it's probably going to be David, I think. Anyways, so that was, I think, lighting. I really like to geek out a little bit more about it, but obviously you are also into music, and I'm really interested in what kind of music that you are into, and especially what does it do with you, and maybe you have some music that you would say that we really need to listen to. Maybe you can say something about that.
Let's see. Well, I kind of like all sorts of music. The only thing I really don't like is heavy metal. Don't get me started on that. That's just ugh. So, but I listen to pretty much everything. I like Broadway musicals. Well, that kind of falls in with the lighting and the stage tech. So, yeah, that's all. I have always enjoyed Broadway music and musicals. Other thing I like Glee because of the variety. What else have I been? I listen to a lot of Christian music, like, from example, early '80s music that I actually, I'm 32, but I still like listening to the old '80s music and some of the older Christian music. For example, actually, this is the same name. It's the same. The one band I really like is actually the same name as our host, Petra.
Oh,
And
Petra.
they've been actually, yeah, they've actually been around since about 1979. So, and then they kind of died down in the early 2000s is when they kind of stopped. But their music is awesome, and so it was rock and roll kind of music. It was my kind of music. The other bands I would listen to, DC Talk. They're from they started about '88, and actually a lot of them are still actually singing. Just that a lot of them have gone on their own. It was a group of about three guys. Now they're all on their own, but they are still singing and they're still awesome. Of course, who else do I listen to? I listen to a bunch of music variety.
Okay, yeah, I did see that David or Geeks Life, I think it's David, looking at the comments. I have some songs from the Glee soundtrack on his playlist, he says, and he also listened to Petra back when he was still religious, between brackets, he says. Michael W. Smith, he says, Wayne Watson, and Andy Grant.
Michael W. Smith was also... Michael W. Smith was awesome too. Is what I actually have been to. Let's see, I think I've been to 3 of his concerts. To Michael W. Smith concerts, those were awesome. One of them was actually a live recording. That was a pretty cool concert.
Yeah, well, in all honesty, I am learning quite a lot from you if it comes to this music, because I have been listening to Petra and I like them too, but I also like, for instance, and that is maybe you would say it's a little bit more rocky for you, maybe too rocky, but Creed, that's also
oh yeah, they're pretty good too.
Okay, you like them. Just checking because I do like them. I've got two albums from them, and I really enjoy it. Enjoy actually listening to them.
My first concert I actually ever went to was updating myself back in 1990. I think it was 91 or 92. I got to go. I was like 6 or 7 at the time. I got to go to a Petra concert in Edmonton. Wow. That was a lot of fun. That was my first thing. Yeah, that was like my first concert that I ever went to. That was fun.
Yeah, I see David saying, do you remember Carmen?
Oh yeah, yep. Another good one. I actually have his. I pretty much have his entire collection on my iPhone.
What kind of music do they make? Or is it a hymn, or what is it? Is it
yeah, it's a hymn. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how you would explain it, but he does a lot of story and song, like where he tells a story while he's singing. So he does a lot of that kind of stuff. Oh, what do they call that? I can't remember what they call that. But they're yeah, and there's a couple other artists I've seen that have actually taken the songs, and he does the guy will actually do mime the entire song. And he said, I went to a workshop. I went to a session with him one time at a conference I went to, and he was just explaining that he was saying, though, that Carmen was one of the ones that he would do that a lot with, because a lot of his songs were able to do that.
Okay. I see Matthew is also in the house, by the way. Matthew Govisto.
Matthew K.
I hope that I pronounced that. I hope that I pronounced that correctly, Matthew. Music begins and ends with grunge for me. That's Seattle sound just speaking to me. You're the guy from my heart, Matthew. I really love that sound, but I think I have some feeling that Jordan is not really into it. But I really like the Seattle sound, so to speak. And if I think about Seattle sound, I immediately think about, for instance, Nirvana. And I'm not sure what you think about guys like Nirvana and Soundgarden
I haven't
also
really
from
listened to them a whole lot.
Seattle?
But I do like
Yeah,
TSO,
I can imagine.
Trans-Siberian, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. No, if anybody has it,
Yeah,
seen any of them, you need to go to YouTube and type in Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They got some very cool. Their albums are awesome, but their shows are even better.
there are a
They
lot of lights and
lights, sound, lasers. It was like,
lasers.
I did oh yeah, they have like yeah, yeah. Like last time I read, last trip they took, which was I believe last year, 65 semi trucks.
Wow,
Um,
that is amazing.
220 crew, including band, was 220.
Huh?
Band alone and singers and all that and orchestra and stuff was about 50 members.
Yeah. Huh.
And they also, because they're so big, so they use so much power, they actually have their own generator trucks.
Wow.
Because
That's
they've
amazing.
had a couple times where they've actually blown breakers because they were drawing too much power.
Oh wow.
So.
Okay. Let me see. There
And
are
the really
a lot
cool
of
thing
comments
is
coming in. Jordan. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
The really cool No. And the really cool feeling is.
The tickets are really reasonably priced. Like like some concerts, like you paid 150 to $300 for a ticket. They've kind of set a front cap at about $50 to $75 per ticket. So they've kind of set a cap.
That's great. I mean, I don't know about the other parts of the world at this moment, but the prices of concerts over here in the Netherlands are really mind-boggling. They are getting worse and worse every year, it seems. I mean, typically my concerts cost, well, they used to cost about $60-$70, depending how you look at it. But nowadays, I mean, if I would want to go to U2 or something, I have to pay $120 or $150. That's I don't get that, but okay. Let me see what there are a lot of comments coming in. Geeks Life, David, he says Christian comedy music, kind of folk. He likes folk music. He says that he lived in Seattle in the early 90s and saw a lot of those bands. Soundgarden. So I am right. I knew they were from Seattle, but I was not sure yet anymore. Mother Love Bone. He says. Alice in Chains, Screaming Trees, Nirvana, of course, Pearl Jam, of course. He says depends on the band over here, but generally 25 and up. Festivals are way more nowadays. He said he paid $350 to see Mumford and Sons. David, wow, then you need to be a fan. That is. Wow.
Yes. Ouch. Definitely. But depends on where seat is also.
Gonna hurt. Well, okay. I can imagine that it's also a seating thing. I mean, of course, if you sit front row and you can touch them, then I can understand that. But $350, wow, wow. I don't know about that. Okay.
Well, that was the other thing.
Okay.
Yeah, Broadway show. I looked at a couple Broadway shows I wanted to go see sometime, and they're about the ones I was looking at for decent seats were probably anywhere between $200 and $300.
Yeah, but those are musicals, right? They're different. No, yeah. They're not. They're different. They're accepted to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah,
that's true.
There's a couple Broadway. There's one Broadway musical I really want to go see, and that is Wicked, which is a Wizard of Oz kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
So, it looked really good.
Others as well. Others as well, or
what's that?
Others. Any others that you want to see?
Well, I'd always like to go see Annie. I know that's kind of a classic one, but it's always a good one. I'm not sure if it's on stage right now or not right now. And there was a couple other ones I wanted to see, but I just can't remember what they were right now.
Okay. I see that
Oh,
David is
the
still
other one,
talking about it. What? Sorry, what? Go
other
ahead.
one I want to go. Other group I want to go see is Blue Man Group.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Ever
Okay.
since I saw like the original,
I see.
oh, this is dating me a little bit, but the old Intel 4 ads and the Intel 3 ads that the Blue Man Group did for the Intel chips.
Mhm.
Ever since then, I've wanted to go see them. Oh, another thing I want to see is a couple of the what is it? Las Vegas. I can't think what they're called right now. Cirque du Soleil.
Okay. So just
There's
okay.
a couple of
No,
them
that's
that
what
I
they
want to see.
called.
Cirque
All
du
right.
Soleil.
So all right. So I see David is still talking about Mumford & Sons. It was the best show he'd ever seen. Third row seats. He could have thrown a marshmallow from his seat, and they got it in their mouths. So that is how close he was. That's typical David to talk in that kind of way somehow.
Yeah,
uh,
it is.
he says he says you should see Big River if possible, and he says that he saw the Blue Man Group, and it was hilarious. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, looking at musicals, I have not been to a lot of musicals. I've been to the Queen musical. Sorry, I don't recall what the exact name was. But that was a really cool musical, and Mamma Mia was a really great musical.
Oh,
And this, like 2 weeks ago, I went to, no, I forgot the name, but another musical will pop up. So I don't have a lot of experience with them, but I did go to some of them, and it's always fun. It's always great to see, and definitely something to look forward
it's
to.
kind of
And I think that we have a
and it's
special
always
guest today.
always
Oh,
cool
he's not
when
coming.
when it's amateur theater too. That's always cool too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking maybe that Kermit would come join us today, but unfortunately he didn't.
He decided not to.
Looking at the time, I really would like to thank you for this awesome interview. It was a long time coming because we were on and off about getting you on board it, and it is
And the
you're
last
here, so that is great. Yeah.
and the last time we did it, my audio wasn't working.
Yeah, but it is working now.
Yeah. Well, I think the
So
last
Jordan,
time though it
before
was a little.
yeah, go ahead. The last time was a little.
Last time I think we were. It was yeah. You were using Zoom last time, not the nice interview software that comes with this with live stream.
Yeah, they do make some good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would like to thank you, and maybe you have some final thoughts and something to say to the people at home. Now is your time.
Well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Jordan Tekelenburg on Twitter. That's where you can follow me, and of course I'm on and Facebook as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much indeed. Let me get me over here. That was Jordan. He is one of our roommates, which we really appreciate that he takes the time and is part of the community. If you want to become a patron, you have been seeing a ticker right here below with people that have been contributing to this show, which I really love that they do that. If you want to become a Patreon, then you can go into the messenger to message me, or you can also do the following. And in the comments, type in subscribe, enter, and then say yes, and then you are subscribed. And if you then say, for instance, Patreon or Spotify, you can see the links of the show. So if you type in Patreon, you see the link of what you also see in this screen, but then you can just click on it and go directly to Petrus Music Condo page, or Spotify, and you can go to our absolutely great community Spotify playlist, because that is really cool, and I really would like to show you that. So let me do that very quickly. So this is the playlist that we have now, and as you can see, a lot is already been added by a few of our members, which I really like, and I really appreciate that for you to take that time. So the Petrus Music Condo community playlist, you can just hit you can say Spotify in the chat, and it will show it to you. Not in the chat, by the way, it's in the messenger. I'm still trying to figure out how bots work, but you have to go to livestreampros.com to figure that out. There's a nice workshop about that. But hey, I will try it. Anyways, let's see what we have here. Yeah. No, Kermit is not poor. He's sitting next to me. He's on the couch, I think, somewhere. So he's okay. But I was thinking maybe he will just walk across the desk. He sometimes does that, but he doesn't do that. Okay, Matthew, thank you so much. Koi Vistu, okay. Part of us both. My mom says better than camel toe, Matthew. David says. And David says, can you send the link in here, Petrus Bruggen? Thanks. I will do that. I will send all the links also here, just for your assistance. Again, I'm trying to work on some new stuff, and of course it doesn't work from the get-go, and that's totally fine, because that is what we're doing here. We try to do some other stuff. Anyways, that is it for today. I am... Sorry, go ahead, Jordan. Jordan is still in. That's cool. Jordan, what's say it?
Don't forget to check out her Patreon page too. She's got some secret videos in there that you want to see.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you, Jordan. Absolutely great. Everyone, thank you for watching the show, and I'll see you next week. Bye.